So good to see. What's up, y'all? All right, shout out to everybody. Welcome to Ruby Uncensored. It's on a Monday. I'm excited. Do you also know that it's Heroes Day in Zimbabwe? Even though I'm not in Zimbabwe, but it is Heroes Day. What's fascinating today is that we are celebrating the heroes and we are discussing about the military people or all the heroes, actually not the military guys, but I think all the heroes, the Zimbabwean heroes who fought during the liberation struggle. I lost my brother who went to heaven. We don't know where he was buried as I'm speaking. So we are sitting with all trauma daily. I'm sure many families across the country suffered the very same challenge. So I'm here to say today is a very special day. I think you guys heard the song that I played. We are reminding our forefathers that, you know what, we have been suffering absolutely for nothing. Now the country has been ruined by Emerson Mnangagwa. I don't know if you guys actually watched a video that he did yesterday and the lies there. I mean, a question that I have is why do we actually have him in the office? I don't get it because we have lost value. With Emerson Mnangagwa, he's in his own world. That's all I can say. You can't understand if he's coming or he's going. As far as his interview is concerned, there's nothing that he said. Chaos, chaos. That's all I can say. But anyway, for those that have not watched it, please do yourself a favor so that at least you understand what I'm referring to. But you guys know that there's already some conversations or fights going on there. And the truth is that it's only the criminals that are fighting for survival. Because as far as other stuff are settled, we know that Mnangagwa is on his way out. But criminals know that once Mnangagwa is out, there's no way to hide. We are soon going to orange uniform them. They have to wear that that uniform, and then we ship them in that prison that they did not look after for the past decades. Okay, you can only imagine from Yom Bingas to prison. So that from heroes to zeros. So I can't wait to see that day. But the day is fast approaching. And once again, like I said, happy Heroes Day to everyone. And it's not actually a day to celebrate, honestly. That's why nobody cares as far as this independence, heroes is concerned. We have been failed by criminals that hijacked the state over the years. Anyway, I wanted to say, guys, not that the Gaza revolution is alive. I've seen people ask me, what's happening with the Gaza? Guys, didn't you hear what Gaza said? Emerson Mnangagwa is going. It's just a matter of days. He's on his way out. Okay, so the revolution did well thus far. You know that the whole 2030 that criminals were trying to save themselves from the mess that's coming did not work. Now they're quiet. So which shows you would know there's a lot going on in the background. You were told. progressive military. Did you guys ever heard the military sending out a statement that no, you know what, we distance ourselves from Gaza? Absolutely not. No. So I don't know, Zimbabweans, what do you want? You want the heavens to fall for you to believe? I don't understand it. But anyway, what are we celebrating now today? Absolutely nothing. So one thing that you need to know is the games that I play that you are watching currently that I'm going to talk about now for Chinamasa, who is being now threatened that if he doesn't act, on behalf of criminals, then they are going to unalive him. Interesting to watch. But I wanted to remind those that act like they actually don't know what's at play. Guys, the constitution of Zimbabwe, if you guys saw what happened in 2017, it actually allows the military to, no, it's not the constitution, but I think the Gagao declaration do therefore allow or permit the military to act when we're sitting with a rogue president like Emerson Mnangagwa. So what's going on, it has nothing to do with all your shenanigans of politics. It has everything to do with saving the country from monsters. People with no plan who are just wasting everyone's time. But for those that have not heard or that are still in the dark, I'm here to remind you of what Xavier Kasukwede said. If you guys were paying attention, I want you to listen to him very close so that at least you understand why I'm here and where are we going. Because some of people, they think it's actually a joke, but it's not a joke. Some are saying, no, where is Gazette doing absolutely nothing? Really? Are you for real? Take a listen, please.
At any point, budget that the military would step in during the 2017.
Listen closely. Listen carefully.
Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that there was the data and intelligence about it. But you also think that because there are certain laws in the country, there are certain protocols, they stepped in. Ultimately, that's what we are now dealing with. And the courts legalized it. Well, but they are now legal, isn't it? Stepping in, a coup is now a legal phenomenon in our country. The Church judgment speaks to that. It says, among others, methods that can be used to remove a government, elections, resignations, or when the military manages military-assisted transitions. Is it not legal? You wrote about it, you covered it, so it's now part of the statutes. Nobody is going to challenge that position, by the way. You know, the military can't be involved. It is now a fact of life that if tomorrow the military come in the streets and the people come together and they moderate, it's one of the methods. I'm talking about what is existing in terms of the law. There's a High Court ruling. Was it changed? Maybe have been out of circulation. But as far as I'm concerned, we didn't think it was going to get to that stage. However, this is what happened. This is the reality of what happened, and this is what we're dealing with.
There's calls for President Emerson Mnangagwa to step down from war veterans and other voices in Zimbabwe. Do you think that this could be a second 2017 lobby?
Well, I think it's not the second 2017 alone. It is a Gagao process, which starts with Davani Stole being ousted from the leadership of ZANU. President Mugabe, the constituents we are talking about, the war veterans, like them or hate them, but they constitute a very important strain in our country. They're part of the politics of Zimbabwe. They fought for the country to be independent. Many of them died. Those who are alive still constitute leadership in some of the key institutes of our country, the military, the police, and defense, and so forth, security. So once a call has been made, by the way, remember, war veterans, by definition, are an extension of the defense forces. They actually know the defense forces. There is the Ministry of Defense and War Veterans Affairs. They also have another Ministry of Veteran Affairs, Warfare. So there were two ministries. They are commissioned. Some of them are commissioned ranks. Some of them were active soldiers. Some of them participated in the army after independence, but the majority did. So they're a reserve force. It's always been said that they are a reserve force. So that call by the war veterans is a very serious call. It's not a call that you can underestimate. When it was made to President Mugabe, naively then we thought, oh, maybe it's just a passing phase. But once it has been made, and once it is based on facts, not emotions.
Do you think this one is based on fact?
No, listen to the 10 to 12 reasons that Geza puts across. Very solid. Very solid. He talks about corruption. He talks about the land question, where oligarchs now have come in to head the land transitional processes, whatever it is. But they are national structures, governmental structures. There's a parliament, there's a ministry with civil servants, there's a land commission. There's no disputes the process of the title reserve is being done because it negates the reasons for the struggle of independence. Geza speaks to obviously the element of corruption, tribalism, clearly. It doesn't need even an idiot not to see that Mnangagwa, what has done, has unfairly been tribalistic all the way through. Geza speaks to children of the powerful man, how they have become themselves senior political adjudicators. They carry with them borrowed robes, power on them. The death of the generals, which Geza talks about, hasn't been investigated. Is it a fact or not? If he says 18 generals lost their lives and we want to know how they died, how do you take that as a joke? He's talking about his comrade on arms who passed on. So these are very, very serious matters that have been raised. And to ignore the issue that Geza has raised, then you're actually living in a fool's paradise. Once you must learn, and like you said, okay, drop power is 2018. Once Geza said it, who is elected? There is certain institutions that must react and say, but you're out of line. But for him to occupy the news and talk to you, whether he had shoes or not, but put across a view that substantively has reason to be talked about in the country, and the powers that be cannot lift a finger. He talks about corruption, and that is buttressed by the vice president or acting president when he spoke about the Zviganandas. So you guess what Geza is saying is not a joke. These are serious national issues. But the beauty about it is it has been raised by a constituency which probably one would say they're the conscience of society.
All right, you heard. What else do you want me to say? For those that have been asking me questions, okay, what's happening with the revolution? It's still alive. It is very much alive. Okay, I don't know what to say, honestly. I know some of the people ask me, I'm actually from Mnangagwa's camp. You know, the ones that you call Varakashi, because they're so desperate to know. Mnangagwa should tell you the truth because he knows exactly what's happening. You don't have to ask me those questions. Just because Zimbabweans are so dumb enough not to actually read the room and to see what's going on and to actually understand how Mnangagwa operates. I feel pity for those that have been, committing crime under the guise of pleasing the president. I feel pity for you because you don't want to know what's coming. You actually don't want to know what's coming. I guess that's why the desperation is rising now. You're fighting Chinamasa, hoping he can save you. He can't save you. It's too late. You have lost the game. It's way too late. Zimbabweans need to be free. And I also noted that there's a problem in our country. Is we seems to forget that Zimbabwe as a country matters more than a politician who is actually clamoring for office. Because there's something that don't make sense. If there's no water, we take it to politics. It doesn't even to go to politics. There's no water because someone has to deliver. You see this? Because there's no guarantee that to wake up tomorrow with a different leader, they're going to do better. As long as we don't have a culture of holding people accountable, we are still going to have a challenge. It can't be based on politics, but it must be based on it's your job. It's a mandate that you signed. You sworn to save the people of Zimbabwe, not a political party. I guess that is understood, considering where we are heading now. In terms of playing politics and all these dirty games, we are tired. I'm actually seeing something that I think I'm going to deal with it a little bit later on. But let's zero into what we are talking about now. Anyway, also some of them war veterans are complaining. Why are we seeing a lot of war veterans dying? And I'm like, are we now going back to the military guys dying? And you remember Geza said, Mnangagwa knows what happened to the military guys. They were killed, but I don't know exactly what happened. Right? Here we are. Also, the war veterans are complaining. So there are reports that the ex-Zimra from Newsday commander worried about the ex-fighters rising unexplained death. Again, we know this side of criminals are desperate. But what okay, Mnangagwa is 85. Let's assume, how long is he going to protect you? How long is he going to protect you? Guys, some of the stuff just need, wisdom. You just need to be wise. You cannot crouch on somebody all the time. You understand? Anyway, Chris Muchangwa is out here again also slamming Chinamasa and saying whatever that Chinamasa is saying is just up to him. But I'm also giving you most of the details that I had. Sources, reliable sources. Chris Muchangwa was right because the Chinamasa has got the right to comment in his own personal capacity. But as far as the party is concerned, Chris Muchangwa has to come out here and speak, or there must be letters sent out with the letterhead and signature. But no, not a tweet that was even sent out at 3 a.m. because Chinamasa was forced to put out that message. Remember, it was out and then it deleted, and then 3 a.m. it was again, posted because the criminals were after him. Some people don't know. Don't take stuff from criminals, money, cars, and all that you are taking. You become their slave. That's why sometimes I feel pity for the pastors. You end up serving the devil, and yet to wake up and see you are serving the Lord. Once you take stuff from criminals, you are in trouble. So I'm going to read what Muchangwa said. He brushes Chinamasa again. Reports from the Standard. ZANU-PF spokesperson Christopher Muchangwa yesterday insinuated that the party's legal secretary Patrick Chinamasa was expressing his personal opinion when he claimed that the 5 have been co-opted into the Central Committee. I think he's referring to Anakuda Tagwire and quite a number of some of them. I saw a list of individuals. I'm not discussing ZANU-PF stuff. I'm focusing on removing nonsense of the office and also considering that we must have proper people who are working for Zimbabwe. The games are too much. We are tired of toxicity today, toxicity tomorrow. We just want a peaceful country. So the different positions taken by Muchangwa and Chinamasa on the core option of businessman Kudata Gwire was exposed. He has exposed the worsening factionalism in ZANU-PF fueled by disagreements over President Emmerson Mnangagwa's succession. I think for me, I'm not even worried about succession more than I'm worried about a nation that functions. Okay. You can put Chimuti, you can put John, you can put whoever you want. The issue is not who's succeeding. The issue is, does the person have the capacity to actually be able to lead the country? Can we be able to have a normal nation, considering the chaos we are facing today? And I've been saying this. I saw a tweet now that actually that is shocking me. I just want to read it quickly because that tweet said things that I'm actually talking about now. We do not want this kind of actions, guys. Zimbabweans, listen to me and listen carefully. You can't build a country at the same time fighting. That doesn't work. So Brighton Matebuka is saying that sources from the regime's belly, suggest that both factions of ZANU-PF have got plans in the pipeline to ban Nelson Chamisa from contesting elections again. Okay, I'm not going to get into the details, but this is I don't know what to say. Guys, you can never build a country at the same time fighting. The two can never work together. You're either going to choose to lead Zimbabwe or you're choosing fights. Because then we are going back to where we are coming from. What solution are we bringing on the table if we are still fighting? When am I going to say, guys, there's more to life than the fights that we embark on? They're useless fights. If a person committed a crime and there's evidence, they have to be prosecuted. But we can't play with destiny because we're coming from the same thing. During the Mugabe era, it happened with Mnangagwa. Surely anyone who gets in the office now should never adopt such kind of modus operandi. It destroyed the country. The energy is not great. It's not even about politics. It's more to do with the principle. Once the principle is broken, everything will fall apart. Because today you arrest Rumbi, tomorrow you're going to arrest Johnny. Then again, we are going back to square zero. So the bottom line is that we should never run a country on chaos. We should never. When a person commits a crime and there's evidence, take them to prison. They must be held accountable. But drama and political games, we are sick of that. And there's no leader who will be leading a country and at the same time playing political games. Because the two cannot work hand in glove. None. They don't work. And guys, I've always been saying, I just wish we can wake up tomorrow and have someone like Mandela. You see, yeah, guys, something so distinctive that Mandela did. Mandela, the people that took him to prison, he gave them the front seats. During his inauguration, he gave them, said, put them in the front seat. Some that mistreated him, he said, give them the front seat. They need to see what love can do. Guys, love conquers all. We cannot carry on with hatred and at the same time succeeding. I don't know how I would preach this over and over. At least I've warned you. So if you're trying it, things are going to collapse again. At least I've warned you. It doesn't work like that in life. But anyway, to Chris Muchangwa is saying Chinamasa is his own business. But again, we also know that Chinamasa is being coerced to actually write these messages. There's no way a grown person like Chinamasa can wake up at 3 a.m. and begin to tweet. But criminals will like put that tweet back because now they feel like they're losing. Again, I don't want to give them so much power because I'm not here to fight for factional battles. I'm here to build a better Zimbabwe. I've always been, and I'm clear on where I stand, the Gaza Revolution, to do away with all the toxicity that is in the country, including all this drama that I'm referring to. But unfortunately, because there's politics at play, there are also some people that are very much influential that need to actually understand that Zimbabwe is bigger than my drama. We are really tired. But it was also sent up, there was a message that was sent out to Chinamasa, very serious message, that a declaration of war, an inevitable cleansing. Okay, when they said declaration of war, I'm like, okay, guys, when are we going to just sit around the table and have a solution without declaring war? Guys, Zimbabweans, please, we are better than this. We are better than this. Anyway, let me read some of the information that was sent out. This was written by Tawonga. It's Tawonga, right? Tawonga, the writer. Again, he's a ZANU-PF supporter because there's no person who write this message to Chinamasa and is not a ZANU-PF supporter. None. He says ZANU-PF is now under siege from within. Its elders, having no more life in politics, are choosing to become corrupt gatekeepers, taking massive bribes as their pension packages, referring to Chinamasa. Chinamasa's post was a declaration of war on the party's principled wing and a direct challenge on the to the authority of the second sector of the party, Vice President Konzolo Chiwenga. We also have seen that Chiwenga has dropped the Zimbabwean thing that, no, it's not a Zimbabwean thing, it's Mnangagwa's, that thing, Shemuro, what do you call it, scarf? Yeah, scarf. The very man who personally ejected Tagure from a party forum, this unforgivable act of insubordination was a fatal miscalculation. We have seen this play before. The G40 faction also had administrative control and backing of the First family, but it lacked the support of the military and was decisively cleansed. The Zvigananda faction, the criminals, in its arrogance, has made the same fatal miscalculation. I am reliably informed that this act has sealed their fate and that it will not be long before Vice President Chiwenga activates a machinery that will decisively wipe out the criminals faction and its enablers. It is both astonishing and audacious that Patrick Chinamasa has openly defied the president's statement from the last cabinet meeting on this very issue, while also dismissing the Secretary General's circular on the same matter. In doing so, he has positioned himself as the all-powerful legal architect of his own downfall. The reckless act, akin to diving headfirst into a raging fire, or kunonzo kupinda nemwenje muziva, right? He's reportedly seized the attention of the presidium, which is now deliberating on the matter. A decisive response is expected before the criminals faction promise elevation of their modern day Judas of the Central Committee is realized. I don't want to use the word Zvigananda because you are simply talking about criminals. So why would I say Zvigananda? These are hardcore criminals. Unfortunately, hardcore criminals who are just masquerading as we call them rich people. They are wearing suits. In Zimbabwe, the criminals are not difficult to identify because they operate openly, brazenly so. And that's the worst that has ever happened to our country. And I just hope we wake up one day and have a different nation with people who understand that this is cancerous. It is cancerous. A cleansing of the party is now not just necessary, it is inevitable. A message to Chinamasa and Machacha. Enjoy your 30 pieces of silver at the next General Committee meeting. You'll be out of the party. You have put your political lives on the line for a thief, and you will pay the price. The call from the custodians of the revolution is now clear and absolute. Patrick Chinamasa and Mnyaradzima Machacha must be immediately expelled from the party. Their names must be struck from the roll of a party they have so publicly betrayed. This is no longer politics, it's now warfare. The declaration of war has been answered. The cleansing is coming. I had a conversation with someone, and my suggestion was the best thing is to actually demolish ZANU-PF as a part of these systems. But there's something that the person said that was very interesting. I don't know what you guys think of the commission, but I need to know your thoughts. And I'm sure they're also going to read and see your comments. They said, here's what you guys don't understand. Zimbabwe used to be called Rhodesia, and then they changed the name to Zimbabwe. Did anything change at all? Things become worse. Looked at the opposition party as well. They started as MDC. Then there was a fight. There was MDC, there was MDC Alliance. They fought again, and then they opened Triple C. Where are we today? In other words, is what is required in Zimbabwe is not even the change of names, but the change of culture and the change of the people. The change of culture meaning we have to actually change the way that we see the world. And I'm a firm believer that there is no leader, I don't care his name and how he looks, will be in a position to change a nation. I believe that the people can change the nation. So when somebody is saying, no, I've got all the answers for you, they're actually lying to you. They don't have the answers. It takes all of us collectively holding each other's hands and saying, what's best for this country? But again, as you say, ZANU-PF to go to an election with the name ZANU-PF is suicide. Political suicide. Sorry, my bad. Okay, sorry, y'all. And you people from YouTube, you need to stop your drama. It's political assassination. Let's put it that way. Because when I use the word S there, they make my life difficult. But I'm just saying, you really cannot use the word the party ZANU-PF and really win an election in Zimbabwe, considering the trauma that it carries. That's just my suggestion. But like I said, their argument was you can have different names all you want, but the issue is not the names, it's the culture that needs to change. And I agree on that. But I also think that the name ZANU, just for me to just stingingly hear the word is ZANU, there's something that happens in me, which means the trauma is deep. I think on, like, considering what has been happening, changing the name, like just to say ZANU, I think for me, actually, it's painful because the trauma is deep. That's all I can say. Anyway, so for those that have been pushing all the Kudata Gwire stuff, I came to see, I think Rutendo Matinyere is one of Kudata Gwire's social media bootlicker, because he said Kudata Gwire, he's unstoppable. I told you. You know what's so funny? And he's referring to Chinamasa. What's so funny is there's so many eloquent Zimbabweans who are so dumb. I mean it, and this is what's so sad about our country. So many eloquent. Unfortunately, we have allowed politics to take over the country instead of really finding those that are capable to deliver and to do the work for the country. We always want to bring this political thing. That's why it's infested with a lot of dumb people, daft individuals. Because when I look at Rutendo and he's a mouthful, he is such a daft human being. I can't believe that he just said what he said. So he looks at Kudata Gure as a businessman, but he's a criminal. And all the evidence that is there, he's ignoring them because he's just getting a little bit of money there. They get paid to lie. That for me, that's very scary. It just makes me think of Jonathan Moyo. A whole professor, sat down in a meeting to destroy the country. Guys, where are your brains? What's going on? Really, what's happening? We also have Zimbabwe and Mutuli Ngube, a whole code professor. Guys, this is really... I want to read this headline so that you can understand why I'm calling out Mutuli Ngube. Zim China seal US 55 million economic deal. Sign US 6.9 million food assistance agreement. Hello? What deal are you referring to? Nobody knows the deal. They just signed a deal of 55 million. They also signed a 6.9 million food assistance from China. Okay? In exchange of what? China built the parliament. China built the airport. China. Now we're seeing adverts that are written in Chinese. There's no English there. They are written in Chinese. Okay, in Zimbabwe. You understand me? It's like in South Africa, we can see an advert written in Shona. I dare you, people are going to freak out. But not in Zimbabwe. Chinese people are advertising in China. No English. Chinese, which means it's just for Chinese people. So there's... No. This is going to drive me really sick. But that will show you the kind of... But this is a Professor Mutuli Ngube. Maybe one day we have a discussion about what is life really and what is education. I'm talking about education in the academia. Because academia is very limited. You can have it all you want, but if you don't have wisdom, you actually have nothing. Academia is extremely limited because the way these guys think is foolish. But I've seen that there's been a lot of conversation around, because I need to move on with the issue of fear. I think Chinamasa is acting out of fear, but again, he knows exactly what he's doing. You know, acting out of fear doesn't mean that that's who you are. You know who you are from the inside. You don't really care what people say. But talking of fear, okay, there's something that you guys did not pick up. I've seen you are very much interested in what's going on with Apostle Chiwenga, but you actually didn't pick up what's really going down here. I saw conversations across social media. But before I actually tell you what I think is going on, is I wanted you to listen to what he actually said. Because some people are just quoting stuff without facts. I don't go to Apostle Chiwenga's church, but I'm also wise enough to look at situations, look at they are, and be able to give you what I think. Because some people ask me questions, what do you think? I'm going to tell you what I think. So let's listen to what he actually said. Not what the streets are just hallucinating. Take a listen.
It is against this background to tell you sad news. On 4 May 2024, it was a Saturday last year, we had a revelation gathering that was starting, I think, on the 3rd. It ended on the 5th, which was a Sunday. We dedicated the afternoon of May the 4th, 2024, to introduce a woman that was meant to be my wife. The name of this woman is Nyasha Vanessa Veringa. We introduced her to you after having completed all the necessary cultural requirements of marrying a wife, something that we are proud about. It is very sad for you to know now that on the 8th of the same month, 8 May, Wednesday, 8 May 2024, I had to send back Mrs. Nyasha Vanessa Veringa to her father's house, having discovered that she was fraught with irreparable irregularities in her personal life and character. That's something I could not live with. some of the things I discovered them on that very day, on the 4th of May. But it was too late for me to do anything to change the course of that day. I was also doing some evaluations. How much damage has she caused already? And how safe are we? Am I healthy? Have I not been poisoned? Such questions like that had to be asked. Miss Nyasha Vanessa Verenga was married on the 16th of December 2023. That's when we paid dowry for her. She came to my house on the 26th of December 2023. Around 13 February, we had sent her back again. That was the first time we sent her back. When we introduced her to you, she had just come back from her father's house. She stayed there for more than a month. I reached out as culture requires to her parents, complained about the serious personality irregularities that were around her. The back and forth conversations could not resolve any of those issues. So since the 8th of May 2024, I have not had a wife. She went back, I sent her back. Between the 8th of May and the 7th of August, we continued conversations between the Chwenda family and the Verenga family, hoping to see if they had the capacity to address some of those issues. It wasn't successful, and that is when we finally made a communication to them that there's no marriage between me and her. Now, there's a lot of speculations that were going around. I want to thank you for respecting my privacy. You did not speculate. Those who are speculating are not our people. They are onlookers, journalists, those who are looking for something to use to attack me with. We ignored those speculations because we don't communicate prematurely. There's nothing to rush to. There's nothing to rush about. Marriage is a very important institution to God. We value it. We preach about it every day. It was an experiment. Marrying was done properly and procedurally with good intention. But our culture is a rule and practice that when a woman is married and she is returned to her father's house, within 12 months of her getting married, because of serious irregularities, either on her body or in her character, that is not a divorce. It's a returning of a woman who could not meet the requirements of a marriage. A divorce happens when a woman, in our culture, a divorce happens when a man and a woman have lived together for at least a year, or if they had a child between them in that year. Nothing of that sort applies between me and her. So it is not a divorce because I never stayed with her. I returned her to her father's house because she fails to meet, by every standard, the minimum requirements of a properly raised woman to hold the capacity of a wife of an ordinary man, let alone a man of God with such a huge responsibility that I have. Throughout these months and throughout the engagements we have had with the family, I've gone through a lot of challenges myself. Challenges that I cannot share with you because I don't want to take this platform to attack the person I'm talking about. Men do not gossip about women in their absence. It's not good in us to do so. So, the few things I can share with you that I'm not ashamed to share with you about, that form the basis of this position that we took so many months ago, more than a year now. It begins with the recording of family life. We found out that she was in custody of different forms of recordings, from audio recordings to video recordings and pictures, which she was sending to unknown people whom we could not establish who they are. I can't stand here before you and lie to make myself look like a good man. Discussing my personal life is the last thing I wanted to do to you. But
He said a lot of stuff, and I must say, I was right. I was right when I spoke about the issue of maturity. And I know if you want to be a leader or if you want to marry a pastor, you're not only going to marry the man, you're marrying the church as well. You're marrying the gift. Okay, so people don't actually know that. I've seen girls, I just want to marry. There was a time I was also crazy about marrying a pastor. I wanted to marry a pastor so badly, you see. But for me, I don't have a problem at all. That one is a settled area. Anyway, let's go back to the issue. He said a lot of stuff. So first and foremost, people thought maybe the virginity was an issue because remember, this man has been very outspoken as far as marrying a virgin is concerned. So if those that were saying it's a virginity issue, I think you need to just keep quiet. I don't think so, because if a woman got married on the 16th of December, came to his house on the 26th of December, Then he sent her back in February, which means they were staying together. So it wasn't the virginity thing, because some people thought she was married on the 4th and then she was sent back on the 8th. So they concluded that no, maybe because she wasn't a virgin, like you always say. Because I'm talking about what the pastor is always preaching. You know him in this story. Holy Spirit, help him. All right, I'm so sorry, y'all. But anyway, back to the story. So this is what I think. I think there's an issue of maturity. He made it very clear that you're not only going to marry me, you also marry a leader of the church. And again, I don't know how I would say this, because I've seen that most women, especially women, I know many do this, but not most, but women to be specific. Guys, the issue of recording people without their consent. This one here, you guys must never forget that Apostle Chiwenga, okay, used to work for the government of Zimbabwe. He has a huge problem with the current regime. You are much aware of that, right? So you guys should never be surprised why he's so conscious of his environment and the person that he marries. Because first and foremost, when he introduced the woman, people did not even know that he was married. He started, he got married on the 16th of December. And the church didn't know. I know the girls that go to his church. I asked them, they were like, we're also shocked when we see the woman being introduced today. But he could not say it because of his position and how he's fighting with the regime of Mnangagwa. And maybe you actually know very well that this regime, okay, not this, even the Mugabe regime, they have a track record of using women. You understand? Get this right, using women or men against women as well. So it said that it's a man, they can use a woman to destroy you. Or it's a woman that can use a man to destroy you. It's known, it's out there. That has always been ZANU-PF's modus operandi. It's known, it's out there. Guys, you know it. So many stories. So I guess that's why he's very strict and he's conscious of how he does things. I don't blame him for doing so. You heard him spoke about the issue of poisoning. Now, it's you suspect poisoning, you're finding someone recording you with recordings, sending to people you don't even know. And you are such an influential person as a leader. Not only that, you also have a problem with the government of Zimbabwe, that you know they're after your soul. You see this? So many just rush to talk about, oh no, we're chasing a woman, you don't know why you're... No, I get him. He's a leader. It's like you only marry a president. There's a way you expect it to behave. When you marry a man of influence, there's a way you should behave. I don't know if women could get this. No, I know some women do, but I realize that most don't. You don't just get married, guys. You get to be part of someone's vision and destiny. So your actions really matter. So I respect his decision, because I could have freaked out as well. Imagine I'm dating someone, the person is recording me. You're recording me. You're recording my... No, it's evil. But I don't really care, honestly. Like, I'm so ready for anything that comes my way. I'm so ready, because especially for this current regime, I'll put my soul to fight them. So I'm so ready to educate Zimbabweans to stop using people's videos, pictures to fight battles. It's very backward. It's unclassy. It's shameful. Because the truth is that all of us, at some point, we get to be in a relationship and we get to be intimate to one way or the other. Okay? So once you take someone's stuff and try to expose and pretend as if you're not living the same life, because no one recorded you, all right? So you are not smart. You're actually stupid. You're simply saying to people, I'm such a dumb person. I don't love myself. I'm mentally deranged because my actions are stupid. So I agree with him. I actually sat down and studied. I'm like, Zimbabweans, quick to judge and beat up someone. Guys, you're fighting for your life. And then you marry someone and they're recording you. And when you know there are people, many who died in Zimbabwe while they were using women, you know the accusations that came out of the court, the issue that Mary Mayu wanted to kill Vice President Chiwenga, it's on record. It came out from the court in Zimbabwe. The doctors from South Africa went and testified. You see, and there's been a lot of stories where men were killed by women being used by the regime. So he's right for acting that way. I would have done the same, freaked out big time. He's actually very strong. He was not supposed to even consider marriage, especially in his position right now, because that regime can do anything. Can do anything. So, guys, be gracious towards him. Be gracious. You can actually hear him when he speaks that he's hurting. He's literally, if you send her back and bring her, it means he loved the woman. He was trying. Sometimes some people are just childish. They actually think marriage is just a walk in the park. They think it's wearing a white dress and have a ring on. Marriage is work. In your single life, like in people's lives, single women or whoever, there's work that you do. What about when you marry? Work don't stop. You even become worse because now you're not only catering for yourself, it's now the husband. Sometimes children kicks in the children. Now if you're marrying a pastor, it's the church. It's the vision. So it's a lot. So I get it. I don't know the side of the story. I'm waiting to hear what the wife will say. And because I'm sure one day she will speak, the ex-wife. She will speak. Because I heard that she wrote a book, but I tried to search for the book. I couldn't find it. So eventually she will speak. I'm sure the reason why she could, I'm just saying, maybe she was collecting stuff so she can use it in a book. But again, very childish. Guys, relationships are private issues. The street don't need to know your stuff. Did someone do your thing and it's done, it's done. If you don't, it doesn't work for you, let it go. But you can't take it to the streets. Right? So for me, I just feel like sometimes we don't have to, let's get the facts. Right? And there's been a lot of talks across, but for me, I was more zeroing into the issue of his safety matters than anything, because we know what we're dealing with. So guys, don't forget to thumbs up the video before you leave. Share with other people. And let's watch what's going on. But remember, Emmerson Mnangagwa is on his way out. And he's aware of that. I think that interview for yesterday should tell you exactly what's going on. I don't think he cares anymore. He doesn't really care because there's nothing to protect. It's finished. It's over. It is what it is. What we need to be discussing now is the way forward. I would expect us Zimbabweans to not discuss about what we want. I actually heard someone who put out a very nice, very, very well, thought message regarding hospitals. And I think we're going to deal with that a little bit later in the evening. We need to start talking about the way forward. Not worrying about Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is going. What's next post Mnangagwa era? We don't want to do things at the last minute. What do you expect is what you need to put in the comment section, because they read your comments. They also see what people think, because this is very, very important. For Mnangagwa, it's history. We are moving forward. I love you guys. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, share with others, and until next time, I love you, bless you, and bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.